Every guy in the National Football League, the thing they worry about is they don't want to be in any of his commercials. And he's putting a whole bunch of them in his commercials today.
He was a member of the 1990s All-Decade team. His number 20 is retired by the Detroit Lions.
Sanders.
He is a Pro Football Hall of Famer and a living legend.
He is gone. 50 yards by Barry Sanders.
Aside from the numbers, do you know people look at you as probably the most exciting running back ever to play?
Today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Forget everything you think you know about mobile games, because this is one of the most ambitious RPG projects of 2019. Raid has all the elements you'd expect to find in a console release, like amazing storylines, graphics, boss fights, PvP battles, and hundreds of epic champions to collect and customize. But don't just take my word for it. Raid Shadow Legends has over 200,000 reviews on the Play Store, with nearly a perfect 5-star rating. The game is growing super fast. Check out this cool roadmap they've published. Click on the special link and you'll get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program. It's completely free to play, so click the link in the description and play today.
Plus, he grew up in a household where his father kept reminding him that he's no Jim Brown. No matter what Barry did, it was not going to be good enough to be better than Jim Brown.
Barry being an undersized running back, did you have a chip on your shoulder?
One thing I can say about my mindset back then is that I was extremely serious about football.
Sanders. Here he goes.
My last year of high school, I had a coach who just basically gave me the ball and said, you know, just do what you do best.
Well, you talked about all the little things he could do, Joe. How about that?
Lightning quick cuts and ankle-breaking moves.
Tomorrow night, Oklahoma State kicks off the 1988 football season. The big question in Stillwater, can kick returning wizard Barry Sanders replace All-American Thurman Thomas in the backfield?
Let's go back 30 years now to 1988, because that season for Oklahoma State was just legendary. Perhaps the greatest collegiate football season in NCAA history.
The Cowboys open their season. The nation's leading kickoff returner goes 100 yards for a touchdown.
From the first kickoff of that season that I returned for a touchdown, they just kept getting better from there.
2580 in terms of yards of the ground, 44 touchdowns, 34 NCAA records.
Barry Sanders, you're looking at only 5 of the 24 NCAA records that he was responsible for.
Standing at 5'8", he was overlooked by most Division I schools.
This cowboy is 5'8", 197 pounds.
My goodness, 2 of my thighs equal 1 of his. I mean, he's a strong little guy.
One man to beat, he does. Touchdown.
We had a chance to talk to him. What were your impressions? I mean, he's not a big guy.
Well, he's got great legs, too. Those thighs are as big as my...
Boom, perfect timing.
But he is a very powerful young man, very humble, too.
He has also made his mark in the race for the Heisman.
Touchdown, Cowboys on the left side. Barry Sanders scores.
Although it really wasn't a photo finish, the race for this year's Heisman was as memorable as ever.
He gives the ball to the official, which is one of his traditions. Barry Sanders.
Unlike many Heisman winners, Barry Sanders' season was not keyed by any one given play.
He broke the record that Thurman set against Iowa State last year with 293. I was 300 and something. Here's 2.
Rather, a season filled with superlatives.
Sanders, look at the spin! Sanders across the 40 to the 42.
Barry Sanders did not have all the national TV exposure like Troy Aikman and Rodney Peete. He emerged as a candidate in mid-season and then rushed his way to the top.
They give it to Sanders. He's got the first down.
Look back and reflect on the year you won the Heisman Trophy.
This is one of the reasons why. He's going for a touchdown. Barry Sanders.
We told you that Sanders scores once every 9 times he touches the ball.
Touchdown.
That umph, the thing you can't describe, it's an eloquence.
And he just went by Rozier and Lydell Mitchell as far as touchdowns scored in a single season, and we've still got a couple ball games left.
Let's see how they answer. How about Barry Sanders? To midfield. He might go. And that's number 5.
The 1988 winner of the Heisman Award is Barry Sanders of Oklahoma State University.
Sanders finishes the regular season with 2,553 total rushing yards.
Coming out of college, Barry's critics question his next-level impact. He was just 5'8".
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like at this time to introduce to you one of the finest running backs in the United States of America, and our number 1 pick, Barry Sanders.
Leaving many to wonder what would happen when he was subjected to NFL-level hits on a routine basis.
Even though you look back in Barry's time here, it was easily the most successful time pretty much in the last 60 years.
There's Barry Sanders still waiting to get his chance, and there's Dave Levy.
This is his first time in a Detroit Lion uniform, also his first time in pads.
No running back in history could have made something out of nothing more than Sanders did with the Detroit Lions.
Signed a $9 million contract plus, the highest paid Lion in history.
Wearing number 20, Billy Sims' old number. He's coming up to bunts.
You'll hear the cheer.
And everyone has imagined, what would it be like to be the best? And he was the best.
Here's Sanders with his first carry.
The Lions needed a franchise player, and Barry had that flash.
Listen to him.
There are some guys who, when you strip it all away, the offensive line, the team they're on, the coach, the scheming, everything else, you say, just who's the best you've seen with your own eyeball. And I think most people say Barry Sanders.
Touchdown!
And Sanders is in for his first touchdown.
When Barry was playing, he was at the top of his game, and he was the guy everyone was talking about.
Touchdown, Barry Sanders.
First of all, Barry Sanders, greatest running back ever in my eyes. Okay?
Barry Sanders with the spin move. About how it looks like Barry Sanders has ball bearings in his ankle.
Barry's somebody that you hope you tackle him. You know, it's not like you're gonna go out and say I'm gonna put a good lick on him. You just hope you get him down.
I've always put Barry in the class by himself. It's Barry and then it's everyone else.
Barry's young for a running back, too. He came up when he was 20 years old.
The things he do are just unbelievable. I've been a fan of Barry even long before I was in the league.
Well, when it's your turn to tackle Barry Sanders.
I think about your style, and it's so unique to everything else in NFL history.
Barry Sanders was the absolute hardest out, period. I mean, we played a game, and everybody missed him on a single play.
Look out, Sanders.
In only his second full season of the NFL, number 20 has clearly established himself as both the most humble and most spectacular runner in the league. An especially approachable young man, Sanders treated the country to a sample of his skills on a Monday night in December.
Barry Sanders, jaw-dropping. Every run was like, talk about, we said Pat Mahomes' most exciting player to watch in the NFL. Now, Barry Sanders was probably the most exciting player I've ever seen play. Just like played Frogger out there, going every which way.
So if there's football fans out there that never got to see Barry Sanders, play the game of football live.
cut left, you cut right. Contorting like a man made of rubber.
And he would run into a pile, and you got the feeling that it's as if the pile gave birth to another long run by Barry Sanders.
The guy's just electric. That's tough to tackle, Gus. That's legendary enough for me.
It is sort of very subtle. Some people just sort of know how to do it. You know, keeping that defensive guy guessing.
This was a different time, a different era, where you looked at your running back and he wasn't interchangeable.
Got some of it back, still on his feet. First down, Detroit.
Now you start talking about somebody like Barry. He has almost a Zen approach to it, things you had never seen.
Once again, and Sanders spins and touchdown, Detroit.
There were a lot of players that were like Barry Sanders as far as the numbers he would put up, but there was nobody who went about it the way Barry did.
One on his feet, he's going to the end zone. Can you believe that?
He made something.
Barry Sanders, gonna get him, is still on his feet, tiptoes his way along the sideline, and he
Unfortunately, Barry spent his career on bad teams.
And they give us to Barry Sanders. Oh, what a move. As he breaks it to the outside. Still on his feet and has a chance to go.
Got to get it.
They didn't have much with the Lions.
Sanders rammed in the backfield.
You keep trying to contain, and all of a sudden he slips through and he's gone.
No signal. He's still on his feet as Talley misses him.
Tony Dungy was saying, he said you get 0, 0, -2, -2, 1 yard with Barry Sanders, and then whap, 40 yards for a touchdown.
Hold it here. And here's our guy. And watch how many times he just turns him almost to 360.
Watch this load through the ground-built Volvo four-wheel drive Barry Sanders run.
The guy is trying to tackle him, but he's got his back to Barry because he can't find him.
And I used to get into these discussions with people. They were like, oh, you know, who's better running back, Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders? I said, well, Barry's a better running back. It was just Barry played on a bad team. He was a great running back on a bad team.
Makes it difficult. He's the only guy. He's the only guy.
Sanders still on his feet, and Sanders is gone.
Because there is no other players on offense that you need to address.
That you're fearing. Or
that you're
It's
fearing.
3rd down and 7 for the Detroit Lions from the 38. Mitchell again swings it out to Barry Sanders.
He jukes, makes a good cut, and he leaves people out there getting hurt just trying to slide and move around with him. What a job, Barry.
Rod Woodson for the Pittsburgh
Barry
Steelers.
Sanders not only had the longevity, he not only did what Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton did, but in those prime years, it's just stupid.
There's Barry up the middle, 35, cuts to the right, 30.
9 seasons, all of them about above 1,500 yards. 5 yards a carry on average.
Touchdown! Jim Brandstatter, you're a genius! 40 yards, the pay dirt, Barry Sanders. You must have been in the huddle. Holy mackerel.
Right, I mean, guys just miss him. I mean, he sees everything. He knows what everyone's doing.
This is Sanders. Barry Sanders around the corner.
His feet.
Close to a first down.
Ardell, Barry Sanders, I formation. Give to Barry.
Barry has a gift. He is the best at what he does, a future Hall of Famer with a sense of football history.
Stop, starts 10-5, touchdown Lions. Holy mackerel. 2 Chicago Bears there to stop him.
Barry Sanders' touchdown is second of the day. It's amazing. Just amazing. Well, he's broken all kinds of records. set or tied today, the 5th 1,500-yard plus straight rushing season, 11 straight 100-yard games. That breaks Marcus Allen's record.
There may have been a better runner, but I have never seen him.
You're going to see the total package here in Barry Sanders' run.
Shedding defenders, leaving NFL players shook.
And in the end zone, touchdown, Detroit.
Randy, what a classic example of a guy making his own room with those shifty ankles of his.
He'd break into the open field, slipping past would-be tacklers, graceful, elegant.
There are so many running backs now that identify you as their favorite player growing up and that they try to model their game after you. I don't know if that's possible because you were so instinctual, you were so unique, you were so creative.
3rd and 5. Sanders, guess what? Touchdown, Lions. 4 touchdowns on the afternoon for Barry Sanders. I don't know that anyone has ever had a football in his arm in the NFL that can do it like Barry Sanders. Look at the feet.
Almost single-handedly, he pulls the Lions to the playoffs 5 times.
Lions, you better stay on your block downfield because you just never know when this guy's going to break it. The explosiveness is right there. You just could feel it. You just knew that Barry Sanders been sitting and watching.
When people got their hands on Barry, he'd embarrass them with an acrobatic twist or turn, his torso going one way, his legs another. And he just escaped.
Look at his feet. He reads the field, he sees it, Joe, and he's gone.
He made the impossible real every Sunday.
That's changed the play.
He could bend without breaking, contort and slide.
Are you kidding? Draw play. Barry. Sanders. Good night. And the 15th 50-yard or better touchdown run nobody else has ever done.
I don't know. I love the way the guy runs. When I grow up, I want to run just like him.
He had every tool: speed, power, and electric footwork.
Touchdown, Sanders!
Of course, when you think of Lion football the last decade, you think of one thing. You think of running back Barry Sanders.
He could twist and fold in unnatural ways, like he had ball bearings in his knees.
1997, I was with the Jets. We had to play the Lions at Detroit. If we won, we go to the playoffs. If they win, they go to the playoffs.
The Lions will get the ball first as John Hall has it teed up. And this final game of the regular season underway.
And we spent all week working on stopping Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders goes for another rushing title, needs 131 to hit the 2,000 mark.
We had a triangle of guys where we get our most elusive guy and have him try to break the triangle. Everybody work on leverage.
That Sanders has rushed for 100 yards or more in an NFL record 13 straight games.
It could be calm right now, and a storm can happen in the next 5 minutes.
And the fact he has only 20 yards in the first half today gives the Jets defense very high marks.
Well, that, Dick, but the thing is with Barry Sanders, a lot of teams kind of stop him for a while, but every play is capable of going for 50 or 60 yards.
We were pretty good through 3/4 of the game, and then Barry did what Barry does.
Inside the 20, Barry Sanders brings this crowd to life. 47 yards at the end of the third quarter.
He needs 61 more to hit 2,000.
And I think that he made that line look really good, and he never knew where he was going to go.
Barry Sanders show, and suddenly he has 95 yards rushing, and more important, the Lions have the lead.
handful of yards away from 2,000. 2,000, the third man in NFL history. There it is. The linemen, they're the ones who wanted the 2,000. Barry didn't talk about it.
This is really wonderful for the linemen to share in this accomplishment with Barry Sanders, and for him to include him in it is wonderful too.
I'd say I've known him for the whole 8 years. I met him when he was in college, and I'll tell you, there is not a finer gentleman in the National Football League than this guy right here.
Only one average Sanders season away from breaking the NFL's all-time rushing record, the 31-year-old today announced he is retiring from pro football.
NFL running backs don't last. It's a dangerous position.
At the time, I think fans especially blamed Barry. I think a lot of fans feel he quit on them.
Watch this. He's going to actually get a shot at grabbing it. He has a real legit shot.
Absorbing hit after hit.
There's a new NFL record. 12 straight 100-yard games.
He was one average Barry season from becoming the all-time leading rusher.
Even though he played only 10 seasons, Barry Sanders sits third on the all-time rushing list, but I think those in front of him know if Barry wanted to, Barry would hold all of these records.
Why would a guy who, if he just played one more season, would have broken the all-time rushing record, why would that guy just quit?
But I think as time has passed, I know I've changed my view that
quintessential Barry Sanders.
I think without a doubt the Lions are to blame.
And Barry, at the ripe old age of now 51, probably can't give you 100 yards in a game, but probably close to it.
I love to watch it.
There were some pretty good tacklers, but Barry Sanders just made him feel so foolish.
Nobody brings it home like Joe Vincent. Nobody.